Am I the asshole for getting mad about my mom marrying my fiance's dad? I, 24 female, and my fiance, 24 male, have been together since our sophomore year of college, so around 5 years now. For context, my mom, 50 female, had an affair with a coworker when I was 16, leading to my parents' divorce. She has been single ever since, going on dates but no serious relationships. I have a good relationship with my dad and his new wife. Sadly, my fiance's mom passed 2 years ago due to cancer, and his dad, 53 male, has been single since. My fiance proposed last year, but our wedding was delayed due to COVID. Our families had never met up to this point because his family lives in South Carolina, whereas we're in North Carolina, where we went to college, around a 3-hour drive away from his dad. 3 months ago, in January 2021, we decided it was time to have our families meet for the first time to discuss our upcoming wedding in June of 2021. My dad and his wife, my fiance's dad, and my mom all met at our place to meet and discuss the wedding. This went well, albeit there was some tension between my mom and my dad. They're divorced, so yeah, makes sense. This morning, out of the blue, my mom called me and announced that she had eloped. I was shocked as she had not been dating anyone to my knowledge. Upon questioning, it turns out that she and my fiance's dad had been dating in secret since that meeting in January and had married in secret yesterday, making my fiance my stepbrother. I want to throw up just thinking about this. She said that I should now cancel my wedding because it would be inappropriate to marry my stepbrother. I'm absolutely horrified. I shouted at my mom saying she just loves ruining my life and called her selfish. First, she cheated on my dad, and now she went and married my fiance's dad, knowing full well I was about to marry my fiance. My mom then said I was still young and I'd have the chance to meet someone new, but she's old and, quote, has to take every opportunity she's got. And so I was an ungrateful bitch for not approving of her marriage. She then accused me of wanting her to die alone. I don't think I'm the asshole, but I just wanted to make sure because ultimately I don't want her to have to be alone, even though I think she did this to herself by hurting my dad. I think I should be allowed to marry my fiance as we met first. I'm also 12 weeks pregnant. My fiance's kid. I haven't told anybody yet. Am I the asshole for being mad at my mom about marrying my fiance's dad because she said I couldn't marry my fiance anymore?
Am I wrong for expecting my girlfriend to pay for her stay at my family's cabin? 100%. My grandparents own a big old cabin where every generation after them have enjoyed annual family vacations. Due to the cabin's age, there is constant maintenance that needs to be done. Every time we replaced, fixed, or repaired something, there was another thing that needs fixing. We also started slowly renovating the cabin as the interior had become quite dated as well. These costs have become too much for my grandparents to handle alone, especially since their age means they can't do much of the work themselves and they need to hire professionals instead. This has caused them to implement a fee system. The rule is as follows. Every person from the age of 20 years old needs to pay an annual fee to be allowed to stay at the cabin. The size of the fee varies as it is calculated according to how many people plan on using the cabin and how big the upkeep cost for the previous year. I've happily paid the fee ever since the rule was implemented, and so have my parents, aunts, uncles, and cousins. Every summer, my extended family tries to find a weekend during the summer where most of our vacations overlap so that we can all meet at the cabin and catch up. I decided to invite my girlfriend along as I want to introduce her to this tradition as she is someone I'm imagining spending many future summers at this cabin with. She was ecstatic about the idea of meeting my extended family and going to the cabin, as she's very curious about it after hearing me talk about it a lot. Naturally, I sat her down and told her about the rule and how she needed to pay, as everyone else paid, and it would only be fair for her to do so as well since she would be using the cabin when coming with me this year. This year's fee is around $200 to $400 depending on how many people use the cabin, due to a big roof leak and some pretty substantial water damage. The idea of paying this fee really upset her, and we had a big argument where she concluded with saying she would make other plans without me this summer. The rule is very simple and made completely fair on everyone. I don't understand why she thinks she should be exempt from it. My brother told me I should just pay her fee for her as my extended family would really like to meet her. But I really don't think that's fair to me to pay double the fee when she's completely capable of paying it herself. So, am I the asshole? Am I wrong for refusing to let my sister have my wedding dress? I, female 26, was supposed to get married to my fiance, 30 male, on August 17, but he passed away suddenly in a car accident a month before. It was so devastating and pain is pretty much raw for me. I moved back with my parents to get familiarity and support. My parents have been so helpful, but my twin sister and I aren't so close. She's engaged and getting married before the end of this year. She keeps ranting about her future in-laws expecting her to pay so much money for the venue and invite many guests. She said her fiance can't afford much, and last week, she and my mom asked if she could have my wedding dress to wear at her wedding. I was shocked by her request, but didn't react intensely. I just politely declined. Why would you want to wear your sister's wedding dress? I explained to them how this dress has personal attachment and value after they said that the wedding didn't happen anyway, and I didn't get to make memories in it, which was hard to hear. An argument ensued, and my sister called me selfish and unsupportive, and my mom sided with her and said I was wrong and that this dress will only stay hanging in the closet if I don't do something with it since my fiance isn't coming back, and I refuse to move on even though it hasn't been that long. Dad is on my side, but I started feeling like maybe I'm not being helpful seeing my sister struggling and needing help. Mom said this might make or break our relationship for the years to come, especially when I don't have many people around me after this loss. Am I the asshole for refusing to let her have it? By the way, the dress cost me $2,200 that I'd save up on my own. They claim I'm refusing because of its price and even went as far as to say that I must be planning on selling it or expect them to pay for it. Live within your means. Why are you having a wedding that you cannot afford? Go to Macy's, some girl. Go to Shein. Go online. Go to Fashion Nova. Get a wedding dress you can afford. That is not her problem. I never understand people like this.
I've never really been lucky in love, but 5 years ago, I met a man that I thought was finally the one for me. This is not my story, by the way. It was sent to me on Instagram. Paul was perfect for me in every way. He had money and he was attentive, and he seemed to love me as much as I loved him. When I met him, I had just finished cosmetology school. My parents were not very well to do, so I was looking for help to open my own shop. Now, a little background story. I had this friend called Edith. She was my best friend, and we've known ourselves since we were kids. We told each other everything. She knew all my secrets, and I knew hers. She was the first person I told about Paul, and she was very happy for me. She knew my other relationships have always been disasters. After dating Paul for 5 months, he told me he wanted to get a shop for me, and that was what I wanted more than anything else. And of course, the first person I told about this was Edith, which I later found out was a very big mistake. All of a sudden, she wanted to meet the man I was dating. She said she wanted to warn him to treat me right, and since she was like a sister to me, I didn't think she had any other motive. After introducing the two of them, Paul's attitude towards me changed. I found out a couple of months later that the two of them were seeing each other behind my back. When I confronted her, she told me Paul was never mine to begin with. She said they were soulmates and warned me to stay out of their lives. This messed me up emotionally and mentally, but by God's grace, I was able to get through this. I worked hard and I was able to open my own small shop. And then a couple of years later, I met a man who taught me how to love again. We got married and I'm the happiest I've ever been. I was scrolling through Facebook once when I came across Edith's profile page. I saw pictures of her and Paul and realized they were still together. What they had done to me didn't hurt anymore. So I just left her page and moved on with my life. Now, fast forward a few weeks ago, a customer came to my shop to get her hair washed. She asked me if I would be available to do her hair and makeup for her friend's wedding a couple of weeks away. As she was talking, she showed me a friend's invitation card. And you can imagine my shock when I saw that a friend was getting married to Paul. The only other thing that came to mind was that maybe Paul and Edith had broken up. After the customer left, I was curious. So I went to Edith's Facebook page and I saw that she had just posted a picture of the two of them a few hours ago with the caption "Together Forever, #soulmates," which means that she's still dating Paul and she has no idea Paul is getting married to another woman in a couple of weeks' time. I burst out with laughter at once because karma is really a bitch. I almost felt sorry for her, but she deserved this and more. I created a fake account on Facebook and pretended to be an old friend of ours who was getting married and wanted Edith to come to her wedding. I gave her the venue, the date, and everything. I begged her to come and she told me she would come. So long story short, when Edith got to the venue and saw Paul marrying another woman, she fainted and hit her head on one of the chairs in the chapel and went into a self-induced coma. But I heard she's awake now, but she's still in the hospital. And Paul got married to the lady that same day despite Edith's condition. Did I do something wrong? Am I the asshole? This follower needs your opinions, babes. Please drop some below.
I'm an asshole for telling my husband's sister to stop having kids. So in 2020, my husband's sister had a baby and ended up going into preterm labor at 30 weeks due to excessive drug use during the entire pregnancy. The baby was born and went to the NICU and went through withdrawals amongst other problems. CPS was obviously involved. She had to ask my husband to take custody of the baby in hopes that she could get clean and get the baby back. My husband told her that we would adopt the baby and that she would not get it back, and she agreed. And we have been with her since she came home from the NICU. My husband's sister had 3 kids prior to this baby, and they're all living with their dads. She has nothing to do with any of them. She currently has a new boyfriend that is 3 weeks clean and mentioned yesterday that she's trying for a baby with the boyfriend who is not clean. I told her that she shouldn't be having any more kids, and she got very angry and just saying I was getting involved with her personal life. She mentioned that if she relapsed, her brother, my husband, would just take the baby like last time, and I think it's ridiculous to put a child through that trauma in the first place. So I was either wrong for telling her to stop having kids, since she very likely will not be able to take care of them. So am I the a-hole here?